Hey guys, welcome back to my layout. Dan here. I wanted to go ahead and give you guys an update on a train that I've been working on, really a passion project that I've been working on since 2022. It's now 2023, obviously, mid-2023. I started this project in, it would have been April 2022, so I've been going on this for quite a while now, chipping away at some different cars. The train I'm wanting to model is the CSX Sulfur train that goes through Fostoria, Ohio. It is commonly known as K889, I think, or K888. It depends if it's empty or loaded. The loaded trains, I think, are K888, and those all went down to Florida. But on my model road in Fostoria, Ohio, this train traveled through this line, and so I've wanted to make a actual relatively prototypical scale replica of the real train, all the way down to the specific cars, the road numbers, the type of cars, and the amount of cars on the layout. A couple other modelers have made really convincing sulfur trains, but I really wanted to go to the step further to really make the most authentic sulfur train possible. And the first big issue that I ran into is that there's really not a large quantity of cars available. Walthers came out with a 14K car. They also have a 16,000 gallon car, and that's pretty much it in terms of sulfur cars, but there are many other different kinds of cars. So some of the cars I'm going to show you guys in this train are modified from, say, Athearn cars or Atlas cars to model-specific prototypes. But the vast majority of this train is the Walthers 14K Proto 2010 cars. And the last one of those came out a couple of years ago, and they've been discontinued since, which is annoying. So the whole process, really, before I even could start the train, was gathering the cars. And that's still a process that I'm going through now. I've bought a few more cars recently, and I was able to finish a couple more cars this year so far. But I'm still looking for more cars, not only because I'm modeling a roughly 100-car sulfur train, but also because I'm modeling a small cut of maybe about 15 sulfur cars for mixed freight. Those are roads that wouldn't normally be running in this sulfur train, where the sulfur train has very specific roads of leasing companies, or in particular PPRX scheme, because the train is a PPRX lease train, and the rest of the cars were all leased, like TILX, TCPX, GATX, for example, Procore, and I'm going to have separate blocks of cars, obviously, but for the main part of the sulfur train, it's been mostly the same kinds of cars with some oddballs mixed in here and there. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the progress that I've made, and I recently actually got the cars out onto the layout for the very first time, and I'm super pleased because they obviously look great out here. And this train actually got its first test run here a couple weeks ago. I ran all this on the track and tested a couple cars out on the curves before I started doing all this work. As you can see, I'm modifying the track down here, so the layout is once again down and not in operation. But I was able to briefly run this train and kind of test out the cars and see how things were going. And so far, everything ran really well. I did have some issues with some of the 16,000 gallon cars. I had to adjust the couplers and the trucks a little bit to fix the issues, but for the most part, the trains ran pretty well. Again, the majority of this train is modeled with the Walthers 14K sulfur car, so this style car here. And where we're going to actually start on the train back here is these cars over here. So these are not in exact order here. It's just more over. I'll just show you guys the cars in the order that they are on the train. One of the cars I did here is a GATX car. Now I should mention, in terms of weathering, other than a few cars, most of these are weathered relatively basic. So I do the kick-up on the ends, the kick-up on the underbody, paint the wheels and the trucks, obviously. But I don't go into an insane amount of detail other than maybe some fade work, sulfur spillage, adding the safety striping, changing car numbers, stuff like that. But it's still enough detail that the cars look authentic. So this first one is a GATX car. This next one is an ITDX. This is a really rare scheme. These are really hard to find. I don't have as many of these as I would like, but when I find them, I like to try to get them done and change the numbers. So you can see this one is a 6801. That's weathered the same way. Changed some stencils on it just here and there. You can see. That's a big thing I had to do on a lot of these, was change the stenciling. I had several decal sheets made to do the Molten Sulfur decals. Decal sheets were made to do the custom numbers. For example, on this one here, I had a custom set done to do the GATX font here, including extra numbers to do the end shields 3 times. So you can see that they stencil the numbers several times on the end shields. This one is one of the compressed font cars, so I weathered that one and detailed that according to some photos of a similar car. Got a TILX unit here. That's another really cool but common scheme. This is one of my older original cars that I bought way back when these first came out, and I've had it ever since. This one recently got re-weathered and touched up. The next car here is another one that I've had for a while. This one got a complete re-weather, so I added the grime fade work to it. I added a new number. It's got the sulfur spillage, some new data was added, like the new molten sulfur stencils, the stencil covers, for example. This car here is a TCPX with all the nice stencil work. It's custom painted and custom patched. I added a lot of data to it. You can see you got all of the patchwork and everything like that. Now the yellow cars are always cool because you don't see as many of these as you used to. Matter of fact, you really don't see these at all, but they're still out there, but they're really rare. This is a TCPX car. I could go into a lot more detail talking about the weathering on this one, but there's a lot more work to get all this properly done. It's got some unique patching. I got a Timex car here. This one has one of the repainted bands. That's another Walthers. TILX, this one has the multiple set of safety stripes, indicating that the safety stripes were replaced at some point in time. So you can see there's a lot of variations in these cars. There's a lot of different stencil modifications, little bits of rust, grime work. This TLX car was a real fun one. That one took a long time because I had to build up the grime coat and fade it down quite a bit. Let me go ahead and switch to the other side here because the lighting would be a little bit better. It would be shadowed. There we go. So there you can kind of see what all I did with the TLX car. Grimed and rusted it up. This is a GATX car similar to the one I showed you earlier. This one's a 5-digit number, so this one was custom patched and decaled. I got the Procore cars, which are hard to find, but a friend delivered a couple of cars to me in exchange for some work, so I renumbered, repatched all of these, and you can see they're all very nicely detailed. I went into a lot more detail with these 16,000 gallon cars, so I added all the brake piping underneath, end details, new couplers, couple of lift bars, new brake wheels, all kinds of stuff like that. The placards are added. They all have a difference in fading and grime added. So there's 2 of them. Got another TILX unit here. This one's very weathered, as you can see. It's very grimed up. You got a little bit of deteriorating patchwork there. And on this one, an interesting GATX car here. You can see all the patchwork, different kind of stencils. Another one of those odd cars, but I wanted to at least have one of these. I got another Procore there. That one is another Walthers 16,000 gallon car. That's another renumbered one. This one here is a rebuilt car. This is scratch built, partially. Shortened Walthers 14K car to do this. Added my own ends, custom made all the handrails, brake piping, rigging, and everything like that. It's custom painted. And as you can see, it turned out very nice. Very nice car, but definitely not one I would want to do again. Got a PPRX, and this is the first PPRX car. And this one has a really neat repainted band there, lots of sulfur splatter and spillage. Custom number, new decals added there. Got another PPRX unit there, standard unit. And then I have a set of yellow TILX and TCPX Molten Sulfur cars. This one is one I just recently finished. You can see that's out there. It's got some really cool stencil work done to it. Got another TILX car with all the patchwork modifications and things like that, new stenciling. Got another ITDX car. This is one of my first ITDX cars I purchased, one of my old veterans. I just finished touching up the weathering a little bit. This one's got a lot of sulfur splatter. And then you got another PPRX unit right there. And then coming into the corner, we have a very dusty looking TILX 135727. That one is a partially repainted car. It's custom numbered. It's got all the nice weathering on there. And then we also have a re-lettered TILX unit with the thin TILX lettering. All that's been modified and re-decaled. I recently finished these 2. Matter of fact, they were on one of my update videos a while back. These are both UTLX 16K sulfur cars. These are all custom detailed, faded down, weathered. All the new decals are added. I got an SHPX. Now this is the first Athearn car I did. This is a 16,000 gallon car that I modified. Slightly shortened it, rebuilt all the brake plumbing, detailing. Made my own walkways and railings, and it's completely custom painted. Got another TCPX car here, a nice rusty one with some really unique patchwork. Got another 4-digit GATX car. This one's got a little bit of graffiti on it, and it's got some interesting patchwork. Got another GATX, another 4. Timex, I think that's my 3rd or 4th Timex car. Just another standard car, added safety striping to it, changed some data a little bit. Got another older CSX Sulfur car. This one's got some interesting bits of weathering work there, as you can see. And we got another ITDX car. This one's got some graffiti on it, as you can see. An older UTLX. This is another 16,000 gallon car. This one has some really unique stenciling, fully detailed. And I got a heavily modified Procore 16,000 gallon car. This one has the new top, deck, and railings. Those are all scratch built, hand bent from wire, installed. And then it's got some other modification on the ends, new details on the underbody. There's a standard Procore 16,000 gallon kind of hidden behind the crossing gate here, but it's another regular Procore, just heavily faded. Got a very heavily faded PPRX, and you'll also notice this one's got a heck of a lot of rust on the top hatch there. It's got some sulfur spillage. Got a CGTX band car there. That's really nice car. I got to make more of these. These are a really interesting GATX repaint. You can see they raised all the data up higher on the tank body, as you can see. I got to make more of these. This one was a real pain in the ass to make, but I wanted to have at least 2 or 3 more, so I got to get some more cars to do a couple of these. This is a PPRX, a fresh repaint. As you can see, not a new car, but a fresh repaint. So it's got all the compressed loaded data, nice weathering on the trucks. New data was added, of course. Got a CGTX partial repaint there and repatch. That's a nice car there. That's one I just recently finished. CGTX yellow band. Got a TGOX. This is a really old car. I don't think most of these are around anymore, but I wanted at least one veteran car for the layout here, so I modeled it. It's, what is this, 1844. It's got a little graffiti, lots of rust. I got another PPRX unit, as you can see. Another PPRX unit, another compressed letter car. Got a GATX. This is one of the newer 6-digit cars. I got 2 of these done so far. I'm in the process of making 2 more. These cars have a lot more data on them, as you can see. So I had to add all of that to the car. So it's a partial repaint and a complete redecal, basically. I got another GATX font car there. This one's got some unique patchwork. Another TGOX there. This one's got a heck of a lot of sulfur spillage on the top. TILX car. Another TILX car. 3rd TILX car with some sulfur spillage. A GATX partial repaint. Got a PPRX. This is one that has the really interesting patch repair to the top, where they partially repainted it. I thought that was really cool. ITDX car with some graffiti. TCPX, this is an Atlas KON tank car, completely overhauled and rebuilt. Brand new end platforms. All those are scratch built walkways, new hatches, underbody detail, end detail, you name it. Custom paint job, of course. All that was completely done, and it looks really nice. Got another TILX unit, another TILX unit, one of the NDYX units. This is a UTLX, a somewhat fresh UTLX, and you can see it's got the stock number, nice and grimed up. It's got all the nicely detailed underbody details, new couplers. And then I got an ITDX unit. This one's faded and rusty. This is another ITDX car. This one is another Athearn that I heavily modified. I shortened it and then added my own new walkways and railings, underbody piping. This is a TLX car with the repainted band, as you can see. And then I have a CGTX, Yellow Band, an NDYX again, another TILX car, another PPRX, another scratch-built, heavily kit-bashed Atlas tank car there. Very proud of that one. CGTX partial repaint there. That one's another recent one I just completed. I got a fresh GATX repaint there. You can see it's got all the modern data on it. Those are fun to do. You just gloss them up. A couple more Procore units here, as you can see, all in various stages of fading or grime. Those are a lot of fun to do. And then I got two heavily faded PPRX and GATX cars. This is the other GATX 6-digit car that I just finished, as you can see. And then I have the PPRX there with the fading. TCPX, these are some that I just finished. So I just got this one done. This TILX here, one of my older cars that I finished refurbishing. And then this brand new one here that I just got off eBay. I give it a gloss coat, grinded up the trucks and wheels to make it look like it was a refurbished car. So that's all done there. So yeah, we have a pretty good sized train so far. If we really actually look at this thing, it stretches all the way around the model railroad, and it's just incredible. And this was all done in a little over a year. It's pretty good, I think. I've really challenged myself and pushed myself to get these things done, and I've had fun doing every one of these cars. I really have. It's been such a fun journey, and we're not done. We still have lots more cars to make. Like I said, I'm going to try to go for a 100-car train because that's normally how long the real K train was that went through, or rather still goes through, Fostoria. They're obviously not as common now. But you can see a train like this, it's very long. The big thing is it has a lot of weight to it, so it's going to need some power, which, you know, it's just an excuse to run more locomotives. But you can see it looks really great out here on the model road, and I'm super happy with the progress I made coming down. But by the time we're done with this thing, it's going to probably be all the way to the other end of this yard. Maybe somewhere in here. It's just fun. It's one of those things, if you have the space, utilize it. And I've wanted to do this unit train for a long time. When I built this model railroad, it was something I never even thought of, but when I finally realized that I had the space to do something like this, the bug bit right away. So it's been a fun journey, like I said, but we are not done yet. Hopefully pretty soon I'll get some videos of this thing actually in action. I'll get some nice laser power on this and run it around the layout with sulfur loads. But that's the update on the sulfur train here, guys. Like I said, I got plenty more cars coming. In my next update video, I'll probably have some more cars to show you, but I wanted to go ahead and put the complete train up here on YouTube as a separate thing in its own, because it's basically my first completed unit train so far. It's a lot of cars, it's a lot of work, but this is what it takes to do a proper train like this. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little video here. Be sure to subscribe here on YouTube for more content, and stay tuned for more videos on this train and other trains running on the layout, of course, and some updates and project videos. Take it easy, guys.